Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at an Apple Watch Ultra that has a bad battery connector. It was damaged with water damage, and the only way to fix it is to replace the battery flux. All of the parts, the tools, the equipment used in this video you can find at mobilecentrics.com. So let's get started. These are always so much fun. Inside this bag, you've got an Apple Watch Ultra, along with a note saying battery, screws, metal bracket, and battery connector. Definitely hear the battery rattling around in there. I go ahead and remove the tape and see what we're dealing with. All right, let's see. Does the screen just automatically want to come up? And it does. Let's carefully lift it up. I'm always suspicious when I'm not the first one to open it. And it looks like this has seen some water damage. You can see next to the connector. And the battery just fell right out. And looking at that battery connector, it looks like half of the connector is stuck to that connector from the inside. And we got corrosion on the battery flex. So this battery's probably toast. And inside we can see, yep, half the battery connector is gone. In order to fix that, I'm going to start by removing the display. We've got two tri-wing screws here, a metal bracket to pop off, and now we can disconnect the display. Here's what a new battery flex looks like. It's got two sections of solder joints we need to make in order to make this work. We can find those two by gently peeling up this sticker. I'll leave it there for later. We'll disconnect this connector, and then we'll take out this single screw that's holding down this tiny little bracket that's pinching the other connector that we need to disconnect. For the speaker here, we can pop. And then I'm going to carefully get behind the flex here, and we'll disconnect the adhesive from the frame. And same goes for this one in the corner. And then we can pull it up just a little bit. Now the rest of this I'm going to do under a microscope because it's really small. All right, as you can see, we have 15 joints here and looks like 22 joints here. And what's really nice is if you look here, we've got this little guide, a little cross that covers up a gold square. We've got one more here, and then one hiding in that corner as well. So lining this up is quite nice to have those guides. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and take some flux, put it on there, get out my soldering iron. And what I'm going to do is get a hold of the flex, put a little bit of tension on it. Nothing crazy. I'm not trying to tear it away from the board. And I'm just going to heat up those joints, rubbing the iron back and forth. And as I do this, the flex will release from the motherboard. May take a few minutes, but we'll go across it. For those of you wondering, I have my soldering iron at 300. You just want to find that sweet spot with whatever flux you're using to where you're not burning it, but you're also able to melt the solder and move the flex. All right, so that first section is now free. We're going to move on to the second one. I'm going to add a little bit more flux doing there. Just doing nice little circles, heating up everything, letting it pull away without damaging any of the pads, because repairing these tiny little circle pads is not easy. It's doable, just not easy. And eventually it'll pop off like that, and then we can take a look and make sure all of the joints are still good. I'm going to take a little bit of solder and fluff them all up. And what I mean by that is I'm adding solder to each one of them like a nice little pillow. And I'm going to take some isopropyl alcohol and a Q-tip, and we'll clean up the area nicely. And now you can see the rows of solder joints all fluffed up with new solder, and it's time to install the new one. So I'm going to add a little bit of flux to the area. We'll get our new flex and we'll stick it in there. And somewhat annoying part is relining it back up because the new flex is not bent into shape yet. We'll want to add some flux to the top of the flex, and you can see the gold square there. So now I just need to move it around until it lines up perfectly with the little cross. And what I'm looking for is equal amounts of of the little gold square sticking out on each side. And then I'll move over and we'll find another one. And once you have basically 2 of the 4 good, then you're golden. So go ahead and tack that one in place. As you can see, it looks good as well. So now let's go and solder the rest. I'm just going to drag the iron across the whole flux, and this will pull the solder up through each one of those little holes and make that connection. Putting it on is so much faster than taking it off. And we'll go and do the last section, and just like that, we've got it installed. And you can see this one right here, perfect amount of gold sticking out, and the one back there kind of hiding in the corner as well. So now I'm going to push down and put back that connector back into the corner, and then we'll go and slide over the speaker connector, and we'll go ahead and connect it back up just like that. Then we'll take the Q-tip again, and with some more isopropyl alcohol, we'll go back in and clean up all of the flux. Get a new Q-tip and go back over it one more time, and then we'll flip it around and dry it up with the dry side. Then we'll take the sticker and we'll put it back down in place. All right, now we'll take a look at the rest of the watch, and I don't see any other evidence of corrosion whatsoever. But before we get to testing and reconnecting everything, I'm just going to take a minute to clean up the housing, because if we're all good and done, I want to be able to just install the screen. This tool is extremely handy. The lifting edge adhesive. The only issue is that every once in a while I have to charge it again. Like right now, the battery's running out on me. And there it died. But that border is really looking a lot better. But I am going to take the time to make it pristine. So we'll scrub at it and clean room wipe. It's also getting out some of the grime that's built up on the inside of that frame there. And now that the frame's all cleaned up, I'm going to remove the little protective sticker from the back here. And then we can stick it on down on that little angled plateau there. We'll go ahead and connect up that connector. I'm going to pull off the sticker, and we'll put back that little bracket and screw. Get out our new battery and all of the other little brackets and screws. Now we got to figure out where these go. And it was all bent out of shape, so now we've got it back in the more or less the right shape. Now we have to clean up the display bezel. And you can see how 1 second of just it cleans it up real well. And then for extra good measure, I'm just going to go around with a little bit of wiping and really get it nice and prepped for installation. Now let's go ahead and reconnect up the display. And now that that's connected, we'll put back the bracket and screws, which can be slightly awkward due to the angle. Put back the second screw, and it on down. Pull the battery, connect up the connector. Now we can put back the bracket. It compresses the 2 connectors there and tighten them on down. Put back that big gold Taptic engine screw. And then the really awkward one where the screw is like inside part of the bracket and the screwdriver goes through that little hole. And now that that's tightened, let's go ahead and test it and see if this new battery has any charge. Hit the power button. Let's go ahead and plug it in and see if we get anything different. There's an Apple logo. Good sign. Still there when we pull the charger away. Let's let this guy charge up or turn on all the way. While we let that boot up, I'm going to take, oh, there it is. Let's just test it real quick. Touch is working. That's good. All right, the power button wasn't all the way connected. All right, the power button is now connected. That's why it wouldn't turn on when I pushed it. And let's go and make sure everything works. This is the test I like to do. That looks good. All right, I'm going to peel away the big plastic one. And then this is a little tricky. We'll pull away one of the protectors, just like that. Now we'll come in at an angle and get this around and under the screen. And we can line it up inside the frame. And once I'm satisfied with the alignment, we'll go ahead and compress it on down. And now I'm going to carefully rip it here. We can pull it off in one continuous motion and pull off that protector, leaving behind that new and quite sticky gasket. And now that that's all ready to go ahead and align up the display. Make sure we push it nice and straight down. And this watch is all fixed. And that is how to replace the battery flex cable on an Apple Watch Ultra. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it. Comment if you have any questions. Let me know in the comments below as well if there's something you'd like to see in a future video. Thanks a ton for watching. We'll see you in the next video.